To anybody who's listening, we have Awesome Fish, we have Brody, and we have Jackie and myself. Okay, so just to establish what we're talking about here. So today,
Talking about here today, Riot Games released the info for how their ranked queues are going to be working during the preseason before Season 4 in 2014 starts. The biggest news out of all of it, and if you hadn't noticed, they kind of backpedaled on themselves even in the original post to the frequently asked questions as well. But anyway, we'll get into that at a deeper point. For right now, the big news is that they are only doing a soft reset at the beginning of Season 4. Which means where you're stuck now, that's where you're gonna be. The those dreams of getting out of the bronze elo are gonna be just absolutely pooped on for the next 2-3 months up until Season 4 starts, and even then you'll still be there. So, good luck. But anyway, the big news is that they are not doing a soft reset or a hard reset at all for the preseason. So the preseason, you're still going to be exactly the same rank as you were in Season 3. Now, their excuse is to go ahead and make it easier for everybody to get accustomed to the changes that they're making in a competitive environment. Uh, I don't agree with this. At all. Because the hard reset that they made for Season 3 was great. It allowed everybody to. Now, the difference between them is a hard reset has everybody at at a base 0 playing field for league points, for ranked points, everything. Everybody's at 0.
all right.
Then they give you your 5 placement matches, which allow you to show what you're made of for um, one whole match. They take and they compile stats on what role you played, what your farm was, your kill death ratio, the amount of wards placed, the gold you earned, everything.
I think the correct answer to your question is it's hard enough to keep a young person because this game primarily derives on people that are like in their teens and early 20s. It's hard for them to be able to set aside multiple hours on end to be able to extend one notch when they can try to do a variance on game per game instead of going a 5 game set for one movement.
Okay, so this is going to seem flippant. If that's what they're aiming for, why do we even have ranked queues during the regular season?
The reason for the 5 game set at the beginning of each season. Now, this is just solely my opinion on it because I'm looking at it from a business owner's perspective end of it. When you're doing those 5 placement games, you have a lot of people in this game that do elo boosting. We all have heard about elo boosting. We've all heard of people or know people that have elo boosted. Um, During those 5 placements, if you can't pay someone to do your elo boosting for you on those placements, you're going to be reset back to where you belong.
Okay.
And basically those 5 placements also for the people who have gotten into a place to where they're getting trolled so much. Like there are a lot of players that I find in bronze that are really, really good players. I mean, people that have played just as good as people that I know that are in gold that have been put into bronze and have gotten into this vicious cycle of getting so many trolls that they can't seem to fight their way out. I talk to them on almost a daily basis, and they talk about, well, I played 4 rank games today, and I got trolled for 3 of them.
That's another thing that Brody touched on and made a mention of that I think is another really big point. Um, for you, Rob, they call it a fight for a reason.
Well, yeah. I mean, every game you play should be a fight.
No, it's a fight out of bronze. it's never a fight out of silver, or a fight out of gold, or a fight out of platinum. It's, hey, I got up to plat 5. It's called a fight out of bronze for a reason, because it's just as difficult as pulling teeth. Because you will have matches with 5 people that you know where you absolutely have a winning streak. No doubt about it, you just win. Because you as a team work together effectively. You all know how each other play. You know what are good decisions to make, what are dumb decisions to make. You understand that when one of you fucks up, even if you wanted to, you can kind of make fun of them for a little bit of it, but then you move on. Because you recognize that, hey, they know they fucked up, move on. You don't get that in Bronze Elo.
No.
In Bronze Elo, you get people who make terrible mistakes, who don't communicate,
Who yell, gripe, bitch, complain, and throw fits.
and who think that a kill-death ratio at 4 minutes in means the game. That's why it's considered a fight. It is impossible to make it happen unless you have someone who is of just the same caliber as you, and you have to play hyper carries because you have to rely on each other. That's it. If you play someone who is kind of more middle of the road, who is not a godlike status champion, it's probably not going to happen, because more often than not, you will get players who don't care.
Okay.
So you have to make sure that it works, otherwise you're screwed either way.
As somebody who doesn't take the game super seriously, I want to point out that I appreciate not having to go up against, 3, 4, 5 people on a team who are all diamond, elo, and above. Because I don't feel like I'm learning from that experience. By 5 minutes in, they've overwhelmed me and ganked me 7 times. I'm not learning anything. All I'm doing is getting frustrated, and the whole team's morale is sunk through the floor.
Okay, but the thing about that is you don't always have that scenario. Like, here's how I did last season, and you're going to find this to be a little odd, but this is how I did it because it made sense to me. The platinum, the gold, the diamond elo players that are, good rank, high rank, whatever, those players tend to come in and play ranked right off the bat. Like, early, as quick as they possibly can. They come back in, they get their ranking down pat, and that's where they are. All right, then you have these bronze players that jump in that play with them that just get raffle stomped. I always give it a little bit of time before I do anything with it.
Okay, so another point I have is, beginning of this season that we just started with the hard reset, we all got placed in bronze. What makes you think that this year would be different?
I got placed in bronze 1, and I actually
and I got placed in silver.
Yeah, and I was well on my way to silver. At that very moment, I was well on my way to silver. All right, and somehow, and I don't know what exactly happened, but I know that at some point something really bad happened, because I ended up getting trolled, and I'm not joking in the count because I literally counted. I got trolled by multiple trolls in games for literally 17 games straight. I kept a count. 17 ranked games straight. I was trolled by not just one, but 2 to 3 people on my own team. Alright, 17 games in a row. Not having a toxic attitude, literally just being trolled.
So they came into the game, they sat out for 10 minutes, they fed intentionally, ran around, built stupid things,
feeding intentionally. I had people saying right off the bat that they were just going to be doing stupid shit. That, hey, they wanted to do this, or they wanted to do that, or they were going to feed. We had people going in the game saying they were going to feed.
They penalize you now if you leave the game, like intentionally leave. If somebody says, "Oh, I'm going to feed," you can't leave anymore if somebody does that.
You have
because
to play the
they
entire game outright. It's
it's
almost like they're trying to force you into a negotiation setting of like,
exactly.
dude, come on, don't. Becky?
I said especially if you're in your series because it automatically takes one of your series tries away.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And intentionally leaving a match now will actually reset your series if you intentionally leave. Like if somebody offers to intentionally leave and feed and build absolutely ridiculous shit, if you leave, your series is gone.
To gold and platinum.
Get to reestablish themselves as such in the next season just because they want to pad everything.
Exactly, because then all they have to do is sit their fat little asses on their butt, excuse my French, um, and they can get their gold uh, rewards next season too. How is that fair to us?
Well, those people are going to have to play those games anyway. And this is just me being devil's advocate here, but those people are going to have to play games, and they can't just pay someone else to play it for them because why would they even bother with the game to begin with if that's what they're going to
Well,
do?
that's the thing is they really can.
They can have them play 2 games, win those 2 games, keep them where they're at, and that's all they have to play to establish where they're at.
Well, we've already established that you can fall from one ranking to the next, right? So if these people don't belong where they're supposed to be and they play 5, 6 games and they lose 4 of them, they're going to drop.
No, no, no. Let me explain this. Those players that have that, all right now because we're in a preseason to be able to do the reset on that stuff. All right, say someone got carried to, let's say they just got carried to gold 5.
Okay.
Let's say they have, let's say they have 8. Let's say they have 2 points in gold 5.
Okay.
2 points.
Yeah.
All right. Your elo doesn't drop unless you don't participate in a ranked game.
Say that again. We had a garble.
Your elo doesn't drop unless you don't participate in a ranked game for like I do believe it's 2 months.
So you
So
can't. It like
basically,
even if you have 0 league points and you lose every match you play in that rank, you can't drop from silver to bronze.
no, what I'm saying is that if you were in gold 5 with 2 points, all right, you wait until a month and a half into preseason. All right, I'm not saying preseason is going to last 3 months, but I'm saying if preseason lasted 3 months, you wait a month and a half, you play your first game and you lose it, you're at 0 points in gold 5.
Yeah.
You follow me?
Yeah, I follow you.
Then 2 days before they do the reset, you play another game. You lose that game. You're still bronze 5 because
No, you're still
Gold 5.
or,
Yeah.
I mean gold 5. Gold 5 because you're just going to lose that one match, which you can lose 2 matches at 0 before you drop. So that person who got carried all the way to gold is now being told, "Oh, that's cool for you to be able to afford to be able to pay for this shit and be able to do this shit. I can't get to you in time either. I can't get them all, man."
Okay, so on the other side, I'm going to challenge you guys here a bit. What are the benefits of doing this soft reset as opposed to hard reset? Why would Riot choose to do this? Because it can't just be negative reasons.
Riot could possibly choose to do this because they saw themselves at the giant CIA center and AKA Riot headquarters, and they all just sat around a table and one of them piped up and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a crisis on our hands. We had the 4,375th posting about how our community sucks. Run some numbers." Well, sir, it seems like most people bitch about the bronze ELO players. Lock them down.
Okay.
That's pretty much the gist of what they've done.
Lock them down. Nobody goes in or out.
Could it be that because it's only a soft reset, people have to focus more on every game that they play instead of just waiting for next season because, oh, well, shit, I'm in bronze 2?
I feel like that could be a factor, but it would be a really dumb factor.
So I mean, it's an idea that has occurred to me. If people don't have that release valve at the beginning of every season, they might take the games a little bit more seriously between them. Yes, it could have a backlash effect where people just have no hope. They're just going to sit around and go, I'm going to fuck everybody else's day up. But what else can Riot do? I mean, technically speaking, in any sport in any out of any sport, esports and particularly League is the most proactive as far as bad players are concerned. Football doesn't ban people for orchestrating dogfights. We do ban players for harassing other people, and that happens all the time in other sports. So I guess Riot is being asked to do a hell of a lot more than any other sport, and I don't know what it is that they can do. I mean, because there's no magic wand here.
No, but basically what they're doing is they're spraying the lower elo people that cannot afford to pay somebody to be able to take them out of the bracket they're stuck in.
Okay, I'm
it's
sensing a
not
bit of
their
a
fault.
conspiracy theory going on here.
No, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's a fact. I want you.
Just because it's a conspiracy theory doesn't mean it's not true.
I can test this to anybody that would be out there listening to this. All right, anybody that would be listening to this. Go through, make you a brand new account, play your placement matches, and see where it puts you. If it puts you in bronze, I want you to count how many games you actually lose because you're being trolled compared to how many games that you're supposedly going to win. And I guarantee you that what's going to happen is you're going to find you're being trolled a hell of a lot.
Hell of a lot more than you're being in a positive game. And the thing with the higher end elo players, I've got 6 or 7 of them on my friends list that have all told me, "Hey, I'll carry you." And you know, I'll be honest. I even told someone, I can't I don't want to be a bronze anymore because it's just too, I guess, frustrating trying to get out. I quit ranking.
It's too much of an impenetrable wall. It's as if
Exactly.
everybody has this magical ceiling, and trust me, it is a relief when you actually get there, because I've been there once. Um, it's kind of like Mecca. Um,
But they all say in higher
I make a
elos,
life journey I made it my life's journey to get there, and it is satisfying as fuck when it happens. But that impenetrable ceiling of bronze, it's almost as if a lot of people see it as, if you can get out of bronze, you can do anything. And
But,
that's
like,
why silver isn't really talked about much, because silver is probably the place people stay the least amount of time.
So if you're good enough to get out of bronze, you're good enough to get into gold.
Pretty much, yeah. That's what that statement is. It's, if you're good enough, if you can dodge bronze, you can dodge platinum.
Basically,
If you
here's the
can get
thing.
the fuck out of bronze 1, if you can hit that silver 50 LP marker, you may as well swing for the fucking moon. Because
Okay.
But getting to that point is just one of the biggest weights on your shoulders ever.
Okay. I know I've said this already because we've tried to record this and it didn't record. Yay, technical. Anyway, I understand that there's more weight put on those 5 games that you would play on a hard reset, but we don't have that anymore. I don't see this as nearly a huge detriment as you guys think it is, because you guys aren't ranked high enough to have this thing as such a high, it's like to create such high stress for you. Like until you get out of bronze, why don't you just go, well, fuck, I lost, whatever. I'm in bronze. Doesn't matter until I got out of silver.
Well, because you've got to understand there are multiple levels of bronze.
You
And when
have
you've
to
been
be
like
able
us,
to get out of bronze in the first place. And how are you assumed to get out of bronze if you're not able to actually,
I mean,
take
I
it
think
seriously?
I feel like you guys are making it so that you're identifying with the fact that I am in bronze. Something is wrong here. I mean, you will get out of bronze if you're going to get out of bronze. There's not like it's not some kind of like a race. That being said, considering nobody rebutted me or went, "God damn it, you're a fucking idiot" for saying that.
Well, I really don't
Um,
have much to say on that because there's not a whole lot I can really say. I mean, the statement kind of baffled me. How are we assumed to get out of bronze unless we take it seriously? Because I believe that's part of the problem in bronze. Nobody takes it seriously. And the people that do, who try to take it seriously, and I don't mean seriously as in raging over a bad KD.
That's
I
what
mean
I'm
taking
talking
the
about.
games
Is a lot
seriously.
of times you guys end up doing that.
Because it gets so frustrating at the fact that people don't care. You're
yeah, there's
stuck in a place where people don't care. You're not going to advance if you don't care. You
trolling
have
is
to
not
care
just
in
people
order to
that
get
go.
out of the not caring.
Well, so far I've gone from bronze 5 to bronze 3 and not given a shit a single game.
Because you've been duoing with me.
No, man, I've played by myself. Like I didn't do it all on your coattails, my friend.
Uh-huh.
Nor am I going to claim responsibility for all of it anyway. I mean, it was a team thing. It like League is a team. You can't get away from the fact that there are 4 other MFers out there trying to do the same thing you are. You know, unless they're trolling or some high elo guy going, "Haha, fuck you, little peons."
Well,
Or they can be
trolling
people
isn't just
like
people that come in and don't want to play the game. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
in
they
all
can be
honesty,
people
if a
like
person
you,
isn't taking it
Rob, who
serious,
come into the game and just go, "Nah, I don't care."
No, no, no. You guys are misinterpreting my not investing
Or
my
me
on my
after I
own
face
like
check a bush. I don't care.
I'm not saying that I don't take it I don't put effort into the game. I just don't take every loss to heart. If it's a
Every
win, it's a
loss,
win. If it's a loss, better luck next time.
every mistake is a lesson, sir.
Well, yeah.
okay, I want to interject something because Fish cut me off earlier.
Oh,
Um, what I was saying though is all of the higher end elo players on my list have sat me down and told me that once you get into the higher end elos and you get playing the games, it doesn't matter whether you have the mentality, Rob, that you have or the mentality that Fish and Brody have. The game is either going to go one team wins, one team loses, and they all recognize that already. They don't sit and ride people like the people in bronze do.
mm.
They once you I
They
mean
recognize
people
that somebody's got to be a winner, somebody's got to be a
yeah,
loser.
people recognize right away, okay, well, they're kind of feeding right now, so we might lose. Okay, well, what can we do to help them? They don't go, oh, well, fuck you, you're feeding, go away.
Fuck you,
And
you're feeding, you lost us the game, prick.
yeah,
Well, that right
and
there. Okay, so I'd like to point out that those type of players do belong in bronze precisely because of what they do there. And I feel like that's kind of a defining characteristic.
okay, but Fish and Brody, I want to say.
So you're saying that
folks.
I'm that guy and I deserve to be.
I'm saying if you ride somebody, you deserve to be in bronze because it's not worth that. Like you really, if you're going to give somebody shit about how they're playing the game, particularly when they might not be that skilled at it, you really like. It's just
The thing is when you're in bronze, you don't know whether you're getting a first-time bronze player or a person that's been in bronze for God knows how long because of trolls and just sick and tired of fed up with people who don't play well.
so when you go ham on your keyboard, you're really. I'm sorry. Continue, Jackie.
And people aren't understanding that they're riding people too much and it's getting to the point where people have just, I guess, given up going out of bronze. I mean, you see statuses all the time saying bronze elo for life. I know for a fact that Fish and Brody both have had them statuses at least once this last season.
Forever.
So
What days, nigga?
I
Bronze for all the
I
days.
personally think that if bronze people just had the mentality of the higher end elos, oh well, this game's gonna go in their favor. If we pull together, then we'll win, or we could potentially win, instead of, oh, you're feeding, we lost.
It's
Well,
it's
you
the
see,
difference between
Public
being a
service
COD player and
announcement.
playing a League player.
that's the
Public
difference
service
between the
announcement,
last
guys.
game we just got done with and the game we're currently playing. The game we
Public
just got done
service
with.
announcement.
E-
Okay. The, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's
You
all
know-
it has to be. But that is such a difficult concept. You give
This-
up. You get to a point where when you are in champion select and you notice that top and top have both been called, you just go, fuck it, this is lost. These guys are automatically gonna bitch about this. They're gonna be assholes about it the whole fucking way, and we're just gonna lose because of a lack of morale.
You know,
So that game is officially lost because Dizzy Dipshit 1 and Dizzy Dipshit 2 both called top at the same fucking time.
right, and if one
Because
of them
those are the people you are stuck with.
and if one of them falters and, you know, gives up top to that other person, and that person dies in the first 5 minutes, that other person's going to be riding them the entire game.
Don't be a dick.
Originally, this podcast was supposed to be about the hard versus soft reset, and we've kind of gone off to, well, League community is shit, which is to say that bronze community is shit. I'm trying to get back on the topic here, and I'm trying to, like, there's a question that I wanted to ask. Okay, so the way that, I don't know if we've covered this in this yet, but so the 5 games that you get to play that determine where you are at the beginning of a season, like, why isn't it that those calculations that go into those 5 games, why aren't they extrapolated out to every game you play, so that your kill death ratio, your kill death assist ratio, what plays you make, that kind of, your CS, why don't they all matter in every ranked match you play?
Because this game is not a game of an individual gameplay. This is a gameplay of a team fight, which means that when you're in placement, you're being placed by your individual standards. But when you're playing during the season, you're being graded on the status of the team as a whole.
This is a team game, though. Why is there that double standard?
Well, because you're dealing with 2 different times of the session there. You're dealing with what's going on right there. Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too, basically. Your individual rank is to put you in a place where you'll have players that play with your level of gameplay.
I feel like that would happen anyway, if you based it on personal stats.
But no, that doesn't work out that way, because there's too many factors to try to put into variables to do that for every league player. It would overrun their computer system. Like, they would have to have a whole new integrated computer system. To do it for someone for 5 games, for, let's say, 35,000 players, is not so bad. But to do that for every game for the 35,000 players that play 1 million games a day would just be so much strain on a computer system that I can totally understand why they wouldn't want to have to upgrade it that much.
So you're saying it's a hardware problem?
No, I'm saying they don't want to have to invest in the amount of hardware it would take to be able to adequately make it an individual's game that is actually supposed to be a team game. It's not supposed to be individual based. What happens is the individuals that are playing in Challenger Series are people that can play as an individual really well, that know how to operate with the team really well. They're not just good individuals, they're good with teamwork and communication.
So not only is it a hardware problem, but Riot's lazy.
No, what I'm saying is they're appropriately placing people for individual standards of play. And then once you're in your appropriate position to be able to play with the team, It is your job to be able to perform well with the team you're given.
Okay.
But if Riot's placement for your teams are a bunch of people who don't want to be there because they just don't care, it's bronze, then you're not going to be able to advance at all. You're going to be stuck in a place that only the devil can see you, and no one else is going to be there to help you. Basically, you're going to be screwed at that point.
Okay, so what do we do to fix this then? I mean, besides reinstating the hard reset, which this one podcast probably wouldn't happen, but if there is a petition, now would be the time to post it down in chat, because we don't know about any kind of petition saying bring back hard resets, But how else are we going to? How else would we fix this, or how would Riot fix this? Because complaining about a problem only does so much good,
There's actually a couple ways Riot could actually go about fixing this problem.
Okay.
I know that I have been victim of the council. All right, that the council has personally taken away my ribbons and done things to me in the past because of things that I've done. Am I saying I didn't deserve them? No, because I really did. I did things that I shouldn't have, and I did deserve to have my stuff stripped from me at one time. But that doesn't change the fact of the type of player that I actually am. I was penalized for answering. All right, my penalty was for answering to people who were giving me crap because I was playing a support and I was dying a lot. But in the form of dying a lot, I was getting my team a lot of kills.
Mm-hmm.
And my team was giving me a hell of a lot of grief about how I was feeding too much, basically. And I was rebuttaling this with saying, how the hell, my exact words were, how the fuck am I supposed to help to feed you if I'm not able to get in the meat of the fight? I was playing a Leona, by the way. And my team just kept giving me grief and kept giving me grief. And they were cussing at me, all right? And let's make this clear ahead of time. They were cussing at me. And I was cussing back at them. Now then, they only used a couple of cuss words as opposed to me using several very colorful words. But Riot saw it fit to punish me because I got reported by multiple players. And that's what the statement was that was in my thing, was I was put on there from multiple players. And originally I was only supposed to get a warning, but my reply and rebuttal, their reasoning was not the greatest in the world. In the world of Riot, in my personal opinion, now this is just my opinion and it's like an asshole, everybody's got one and they all stink at some point. But in my opinion, if Riot would pay more attention to the reports that are going out, and instead of penalizing people for rebuttaling against what's being said to them, penalizing the people that are negative to begin with, that are causing the inherent beginning of a problem.
All I have is that I'm at least passingly grateful that I don't have to deal with diamond players for the 2 weeks that it would be. But other than that, like I guess I see why it would be why it's irritating to see that the system has been set up or mangled this way.
No, I'm saying it's bullshit.
All right. Well, I think that's all we have to say. So the soft reset is bullshit, and it might be there for legitimate reasons, but it still fucking sucks.
Yeah, either way, it's not fun.
I don't think there's a good legitimate reason for them to reset the league to the way that they're doing it now, to do a soft reset instead of a hard reset.
Well, there has to be some kind of reason that they see as legitimate, so.
Because they're lazy. I'm being serious. I'm being serious.
Because they're sitting on their piles of money going, do we really have to do this now?
The only reason that I could make out for them doing it that way is just sheer laziness.
Okay, well, I'm going to end the recording then. Like us, follow us. We'll be back with more videos, either happy or pissed off like this one, sometime in the near future. Everybody say goodbye.
Later.
Bye, guys. I love you.